Hi, I'm Councilman Garry Bredefeld, and I wanted to talk to you about the very serious health crisis we're all facing in the nation. And I wanted to bring it home a little bit in terms of talking what's going on in our own county, in the Central Valley, as well as throughout the nation. You know, we have 6 cases in Fresno County. There's 1 million people in Fresno County. We have 6 counties in the entire Central Valley, a total of 21 cases. In Fresno County, we had 5 of those cases that came as a result of people traveling outside the area and came back to Fresno County. In some counties, we have no cases, and we've had, thankfully, no deaths at all in the Central Valley. Now, we know these numbers are going to go up. They're going up throughout the country. But in the Central Valley, the numbers are very, very low. And we have a great team in Fresno County, great doctors. The county is responsible for the overall public health. And they did not feel the need, before the city decided to put a lockdown on the entire city, they did not feel the need for that based on the numbers that they were seeing and the cases they were dealing with. And unfortunately, what often happens with government is government feels they need to do something. And earlier this week, when the mayor and the council president came up with a lockdown order, that lockdown order involved penalties that were criminal in nature. They basically said if you left your house, you could be put in jail for a year and fined up to $1,000. Now, when I found out about that, I vehemently opposed it. The police chief, the city manager who was responsible for signing that order, did not want to sign it. And because of her refusal and the police chief saying they were not going to enforce it, cooler heads prevailed, and the mayor and the council president backed off. And so what they brought forward was basically a voluntary lockdown. Now, I didn't support the lockdown. I don't support the lockdown for a variety of reasons. As I said, Fresno County and the Board of Supervisors didn't support it. The city of Clovis didn't support it. And it will seriously and is adversely affecting people and their businesses. People are losing their jobs. People who work paycheck to paycheck now have no paycheck. And also, they exempted the entire homeless population. They're mandating that people go in their homes, but they exempted the homeless. It was not a coordinated effort. It was not well thought out. And it's created problems in our entire community. Now, I want to talk about the lockdown that took place mandated by Governor Newsom earlier a few days ago. Now, we have 40 million people in our state. We have about 1,200 people who've been affected throughout the state. There's been about 24 deaths in the state for 40 million people. Now, when the governor announced the lockdown, now they call it shelter in place. That's a nice term, but it's really a lockdown. He stated that 25,500,000 people could be infected with the coronavirus over the next 8 weeks. Now, that was an outrageous statement to say. There's no data to prove what he was saying. And when he was challenged on it, he backed off saying, well, that's if nothing was done. Well, things have been done all along. His statement would have required 455,000 new infections every day over the next 8 weeks. Since November, we've had 1,200 cases in the state of California. Worldwide, we've had 308,000 cases worldwide. He is predicting 455,000 cases every day for the next 8 weeks. This is kind of reckless to be sharing with people, and this contributes to the fear and the panic. This kind of stuff is really unacceptable and needs to be rejected outright. We need real data in order to make sound decisions. This is not part of that. And as part of this lockdown that's taking place, people are truly losing their jobs. We can't have it for very long where the entire economy is shut down. We have a $22 trillion economy in this nation, the best economy in the entire world. There's none better. Before this took place, our economy was firing on all cylinders. Unemployment was at its lowest. Manufacturing was coming back. We were signing trade deals with Mexico and Canada. Everything was moving along. We were the envy of the entire world. But now, we are watching in real time the destruction of the best economy in the entire world. Now, locally, they said non-essential businesses needed to close. Now, for me personally, I have a bit of a problem with delineating that non-essential businesses aren't essential. They are essential. And these people, in the city of Fresno, there's almost 60 different type businesses. And maybe you see some of yours on here. There are restaurants, florists, bookstores, car washes, churches, all shut down. Not allowed to work, not allowed to draw a paycheck, and hurting our entire economy. And I have some thoughts about what we really need to do. But first I want to show you something else, because I think what's important is that we have some context here. This chart shows the flu that occurs in our country. And there's a comparison with what occurs every year in the United States with what's occurring worldwide with the coronavirus disease. There are 308,000 cases worldwide right now. That includes Italy and France and the United States. 308,000 cases as of today, March 22nd, 2020. There are 13,000 deaths worldwide as of today. Now, any death is too many. One death is too many. But that is the exact numbers as of today. And there are 28 to 50 million annually infections of the flu every year in the United States. There are 34 to 61,000 deaths from the flu every year in the United States of America. There are 13,000 deaths from the COVID virus to date. Now, you don't see every year, as you're seeing right now, on electronic media, whether it's CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, death tickers and infection tickers on their screen like you're seeing with the COVID-19 virus. If you compare it, 308,000 cases to 28 to 50 million cases of the flu every year. 13,000 deaths worldwide to 34 to 61,000 deaths annually with the flu. It's so important to keep perspective. It's so important to have context. This doesn't diminish what's happening here. It's serious, and we have to take it serious. But we also have to have context. Now, the CDC offers guidelines, and I encourage people to go to coronaviruscdc.gov to get the guidelines, and they make perfect sense. They apply to the flu, and they apply to this virus. So these are common sense guidelines. They state, keep your distance from other people. They recommend 6 feet. Wash your hands a lot. Keep your hands away from your face. Populations like the elderly and people who are sick already, they need to be isolated. You need to keep them away from potentially getting the illness. And I have this form that I've printed out. Again, please go to coronaviruscdc.gov and you can print this out, and they have many more guidelines. They make common sense. They will help keep you safe in dealing with this very serious illness. So this is a way to keep yourself safe. Now, in terms of our economy and all the people that are losing jobs, in South Korea, which has been very successful at minimizing the spread of the illness, they focused in 3 ways. They tested, and they quarantined people who were positive, and they monitored people who potentially had symptoms. What they did not do is shut down their entire economy. And their economy continues to thrive. My concern is that while we're dealing with a very serious illness, and there are ways to keep yourself safe, and you need to follow those guidelines, shutting down our entire economy, the best economy in the world, is not the way to go. There are ways to prevent this disease from spreading without destroying our economy. And in closing, I want to thank all of the people that have really stepped up and are true heroes in dealing with this crisis. From our doctors, to our nurses, the pharmacists, to our technicians, to our first responders, to police and fire, and our farmers and our farm workers, and the truck drivers and the people in grocery stores stocking our shelves. You're all heroes, and we're grateful as a nation to what you're doing. Let's remember, this is the greatest country on the face of the earth. This nation has been blessed by God, and God is going to continue to bless this nation. But we can't let fear rule us. We can't let fear dictate the decisions that we make. We are a strong nation, a strong people. There's nothing that we haven't ever faced that we can overcome. No challenge, whether it was world wars or 9/11 or any other issue. And we're going to come through this. But we want to make sure we're making sound decisions based on data and not fear. We're going to get through this. God bless you. God bless this great country, the greatest country on earth.